Wake up. It's the first of the month. Yeah. One nation under the gun. Yeah. One nation under the gun. Wake up. It's the first of the month. Open my pockets, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders, run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector, scramble my funds. One nation under the gun. Scratching and surviving, stretching and remixing. They thought all this game was free, I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
Moving low key and dog in the foot. Scars on my heart, but the gold's in my head from the Bay to LA. I'm carrying the weight. They love you, they hate you, that's how they gon' play. 1600 where the powers of flex. Writing my story, no edits, no stress. Been on the block, all I know is the snakes. They plotting on my moves and they raising the stakes. Hopes in my vein, but the system's amazed. Every step that I take and it feels like a haze. Stretching my blessing, trying to double my weight. Lost some homies in the game, now I'm praying for them. They taxing my soul, but I'ma keep it real. Sign my name on the dotted line, blood on the deal. From the block to the White House, dodging all these traps. Got my city on my back, put my pain in the rap. Now I'm back on the grind and I'm running up the score. They thought I fall off, now I'm kicking down the door. Got the money in the pocket and the smoke in the air. Every move that I make them stop and stare. 1600 where the power resides. Speaking my truth, let it light up the sky. Free my dogs, let the picture say grace. Every scar on my soul, the story to trade.
Wake up, it's the first of the month. Open my pockets, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders, run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector, scramble my funds. One nation under the gun. Scratching and surviving, stretching and remixing. They thought all this game was free, I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
Moving through the dark where the power's concealed. Every promise they make is part of the deal. Got hope on the chest and the weight on my back. In the land of the free and the chains on my back. They watching my steps, trying to box my glow. I'm dodging these snakes, keep my eyes on the goal. 1600 where the truth gets blurred. I'm speaking my pain, every bar, every word. From the town to the Ave, I'm repping my roots. Turn my losses into lessons, now I'm flipping that truth. Future said it's done, but the war's still alive. I'm the king of my fate, watch you thrive and survive. I'm walking through the fire where the vipers hide. Tearing up the stage where the truth don't hide. Hope in the grip and the system device. Making all these moves, yeah, roll like a dice. Now I'm stretching my vision, trying to break through the lies. See the pain in the city, hear the streets when it cry. Taxing my dream, trying to dim my light. But my heart's on the mission, let it burn all night. On the block to the Ave, on the voice of the lost. Pay the price for my freedom, never counting the cost. Future said that we won, but the battle's my own. In the land of the snakes, I'm building my throne.
Wake up, it's the first of the month. Open my pockets, smoking my lungs. Free all the leaders, run to the preacher. Tell him the victory's already won. Call the collector, scramble my funds. One nation under the gun. Scratching and surviving, stretching and remixing. They thought all this game was free, I made them pay attention. I can't seem to get away, get away, get away. Land of the free.
All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. We don't got all day to do this. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Once again, we are back.
It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, the head of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage, the tanks full of gas. I play the game so wrong, I won't finish last.
Good morning, Rick. Mr. Rice, Cali Girl, Heidi, Natalie. Wow, look at you. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Am I right, Heaven? Tara, Tara, I see you. Let's go. Red Rising, Rhonda. Alright, here goes. This is them yesterday, America First, and the Russian Bears. Listen to them. Conspiring against Big Sis. Here it goes, listen. Here it goes, this is my favorite part.
I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Drug
That
test.
shit was
Keep it
radical.
clean, please.
It was horrible. I'm like, you've gone. Zeus has gone way off.
Oh! I've gone off the rails. It actually hurts. It actually hurts. All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It always hurts when they say I've gone off the rails. That really does hurt me. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are gathered in the Thunderdome. I am your host. I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we are gathered here this lovely Wednesday morning. We're here to do the incredible work that it takes to save this great country of ours. Antonia, good morning. Nice to see you. But before we get into that, let's take care of some very, very important housekeeping items. This is especially important for the YouTube folks who watch the videos. I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media. Hands down, no one more honest than me. The second H is because I'm humble. If I get it wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. And then the last and most important H of all, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Now, many of you know exactly what we do over here on this side of TikTok, on this side of town. It's very special. It's spectacular. It's magical. It's theatrical. It's sensational. It's diabolical. It's gravitational in a way. It got a lot of pull. What we do is we hold up a mirror to Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons. Am I right, Brother Swerve? And you know what I'm talking about? Who clearly are lactose intolerant. And they say, you know, my good friend Brother Swerve says that you're lactose intolerant. And I said, what is that? He said, you know how you're lactose intolerant. That means you're allergic to dairy and stuff like that. These Trump voters out here, they're allergic to facts. They're allergic to truth, right? So we hold a mirror up to each and every single one of them. And ultimately what it's doing is it's helping to recalibrate and bring Donald Trump's poll numbers back to the reality that they should have never left, honestly. And we do that one show at a time, and all of you are honestly a part of this experience. So all of you in the audience deserve a huge round of applause, except for the Trump voters out there, the ones that are still supporting this corrupt regime. And we call it a regime because they're not playing by the rules of the Constitution. No, they're playing by the rules of Don. And I got that from Governor Gavin Newsom. And so before I go into what I normally like to cover, I just like to check the temperature. Is there anybody left on TikTok supporting Donald Trump? Anyone still supports Donald Trump? Anybody on TikTok still supporting this con artist behind me right here? The one that we all know is in the Epstein files. And I can say that because look at this. Every other email, it seems like Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. And so I just want to say this because a lot of them, I've been speaking to a very high ranking people in the Republican Party, and they've just flat out said, Zeus, we're not even going to acknowledge we used to vote for Donald Trump. We're never going to admit we voted for him not once, not twice, but 3 times. They're never going to admit it, especially on the verge of what we all know is about to come out. And so you're right, Trump does do that, kitty cat. W kitty cat. And that's so true. She wrote Trump blows. And on that note, kitty cat, you just sent me to the next part of what I was about to say. If you're one of these fragile MAGA men out here, and I used to say fragile white MAGA males, but I'm opening it up because I don't want to exclude anybody. I want to be an equal opportunist, right? If you're one of these fragile MAGA men out here, or I call them CWs, conservative women out here, and they know why I say that, because they talk a good game. They act like they love these alpha toxic males. They're not, first of all, they're not alpha males. They're beta males, and they're toxic, right? And they pretend like they're okay with toxic beta behavior up until something happens to them. Sort of like what's happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She was all about the alpha male until Donald Trump used his beta male powers against her, and now she's a victim, right? And this is what I'm saying. So if you're one of those folks, leave this live, and you can go hang out with those fake TikTok hosts, and you know exactly who they are. Isn't this so funny? I go live Monday through Friday on this show, right? You all see me 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. All Monday through Friday. And I do a great show, and then right after I do my monologue, I say, now, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. Come on up, I'll talk to you. And you all write it in the comment section. Crickets, 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 crickets. I go on to a right-leaning live like I did yesterday. I do it on my backup account. And all of a sudden, they rush in there. Well, Zeus and this. And why don't you come and talk to Big Zeus where I'm at? Why do you try to ambush me? I mean, that's not cool, right? And so what I'll say is this. If you're one of those people, leave right now, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you. All right, I promise you it will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too.
Yeah.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. I take no responsibility on how the sparks start to fly. Because, you know, we're all adults and we should be adults in here. My only request is that you buckle up and brace yourself, especially if you're Trump voters, because I promise you I'm going to hurt your feelings. And so the first thing that I'll start out with is this. It's a nice little update, a little PSA announcement about Donald Trump and his administration. And it's a great video about just the blatant hypocrisy going on right in front of our eyes. And so I'm going to hit play on this. I'm going to try to get through as much of the content as I can before I open up the boxes. But I'm going to hit play and then I'm going to do what I normally do, which is judgment. So let's listen up together.
He wants the files released, but won't release them. He's focused on affordability, but building a $300 million ballroom. He deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, but threatens war with Venezuela. He'll bring down prices on day one, but beef prices are at record highs.
Right.
He's America first, but has a $40 billion bailout for Argentina. He's for the working class, but giving tax cuts to billionaires. He has a terrific healthcare plan, but won't tell us what it is. He's protecting federal buildings, but tore down the East Wing of the White House. He's cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, but added $2 trillion to the national debt this year. He wants men out of women's locker rooms, but walked into a teenage beauty pageant's dressing room.
Oh, I got to stop him right there. I got to stop that. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch what he just said? So when and brother Dame, because Dame loves to bring this up, I would love for you to come in here, Dame, and don't even bring up a Democrat. Don't bring up nothing other than these 2 points. Okay, you don't, because they like I said, we don't want men and women's sports, but you're okay with Donald Trump, who used to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein. You're okay with him going into a women's locker. I mean, not even women's, girls' locker rooms. See, I get angry. I get real angry.
Rooms, but walked into a teenage beauty pageant. Wants men out of women's locker rooms, but walked into a teenage beauty pageant's dressing room. He's closing down the border, but opening it up for white South Africans. He's a Christian, but never goes to church. He's a businessman, but always goes bankrupt. He loves the military, but dodged the draft. He wants law and order, but he's a convicted criminal. He backs the blue, but not at the U.S. Capitol. He does all this, and you, my American friends, still support him. After 30,000 lies, 6 bankruptcies, 5 draft deferments, 4 indictments, 3 wives, 2 impeachments, and 1 insurrection. After COVID, tariffs, ICE raids, government shutdowns, bribes, corruption, pardons, selective prosecutions, illegal drug boat strikes, unconstitutional executive orders, and months of chaos.
Wow.
Because at this point, my dear Americans, submissive fellow journalists, spineless members of Congress, corrupt business leaders, cowardly university presidents, enabling law firms, out-of-touch rappers, and anyone else who normalizes this shit show, he's not the problem. You are.
Boom, WW. Any questions? Good morning, RC. Any questions? That's a huge, huge W, Big Zeus. Any questions? And so I'll take care of it from here, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and warm up the lake of fire. And this goes for all of you MAGA demons, you hypocrites, you liars. We see your hypocrisy, and guess what? Donald Trump's poll numbers show one thing, the rest of the country does. And your days in this country, in terms of you having any kind of power, are numbered. And it's only going to get worse for you. But in the meantime and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these hypocrites where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
That's a huge W, Zeus. I get these W's without talking to you, MAGA. Did you understand? Do you understand this, MAGA? I can get the W without even interacting with you. It's honestly a privilege that you get to come up here and talk to people like myself. Covers me. Thank you. It's an honor. You Trump voters, you really should be licking our boots, honestly, because without us, you would be in so much trouble, MAGA. So much trouble. We're the ones stopping Donald Trump from totally obliterating you, all right? Because we genuinely care about America. Rick. Let me keep going.
Is
Let me
blocking
go through my content. I got to keep moving because I don't always get to go through my content, but I want to make sure I do it.
panel of federal judges is blocking Texas from using a newly redrawn congressional map that favors Republicans in a 2-to-1 ruling today. This comes as a blow to President Trump, who has repeatedly asked Republican states to redraw districts in order to add Republican seats before next year's midterms. Civil rights groups and minority voters in Texas have argued the new map is an illegal racial gerrymander. It's unclear what this means for the nationwide redistricting fight, especially here in California, where Proposition 50 was passed by voters earlier this month, redrawing our state's congressional maps.
Facts.
Governor Newsom reacting to the ruling, saying in a post on X, quote, Trump and Greg Abbott played with fire, got burned, and democracy won. This ruling is a win for Texas and for every American who fights for free and fair elections.
All right, so that's a W, huge W for Governor Gavin Newsom. Basically what he just said, MAGA, to your dear leader, he just said, he said, quiet, piggy. that's what Governor Gavin Newsom just said to MAGA, quiet, piggy. Now let's get on the, Hot Wheels and Ken Paxton out there in Texas and all the other crooks, corrupt cronies out there. Look at what happened. Look at God. What the devil meant for evil, God truly has turned to good. And now we've caught you once again. Isn't it always the case? Who's breaking the law? It's never the immigrants. It's never the immigrants like they try to gas you up and make you to believe. Whether it's violent crime or political crimes, right? We all know who the usual suspects are. And it's usually MAGA. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and warm up that lake of fire because Greg Abbott, you just got caught. Ken Paxton, you just got caught. All you MAGA demons in the state of Texas trying to steal from the American people what's rightfully ours. Rightfully ours. If we want to put a Democrat in the White House, that's our right, and you can't take it from us. And I'm glad a Trump-appointed judge was part of this. Join me in sending all these cheating politicians in Texas where they belong straight to hell. They don't like me. Yeah, they don't like me. I get it. I don't care.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. That's a undefeated right now. I'm the Rizzler, all right? And these Trump voters, they can't handle the fact that I know exactly where to strike every single morning when I do shows like this. I know all their little talking points, and I got something for it each and every single time. So let's move on to an update about, anyone know this thing, Operation Charlotte Web? Has anyone heard about Operation Charlotte Web?
Every day.
All right, we're going to talk about it because I think Tabitha came up here on last week and told us that ICE was heading out to Charlotte. And that really did hurt me because I know what ICE is all about. All right, ICE is all about harming innocent women and children. This is the name of the game, and then turning around and trying to act like they somehow are the victims. And I'll just say this again. If you have to wear a mask in order to do your job, then that's a sign that you're doing the wrong thing. Because from where I'm from, you only wear a mask for 3 reasons. 1 is Halloween. Okay, we get it. Halloween, you dress up, you have fun. That's okay. 2, there's a health reason, right? You know what we happen, C-19. Okay, mask up. Keep your dirty, disgusting, filthy, diseased, keep it away from me. Put a mask on. That's the second reason. But then the last reason you would wear a mask, and this is the one that's the worst of the worst, is you're committing crime. That's the only reason you would have to wear a mask. And so what we got with ICE is they're doing the last one, committing crimes in broad daylight, harming innocent women and children. Now they're in Charlotte at least. And we're going to get an update about Operation Charlotte Web.
Tonight, we're getting a better and bigger picture as to the possible effect this is all having on our local schools.
Yeah, in just the last few hours, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools released to us a revised and updated attendance sheet for Monday. According to the district, more than 30,000 students were absent yesterday. We'd initially been told 20,000 students didn't show up.
Wow, 30,000 students, children, aren't showing up because of MAGA. Because of these disgusting, filthy ICE agents that clearly are these are some of the worst rejects
Why don't you go to Russia, MAGA? Those I say, why don't y'all go to Russia or something? Why don't y'all go do something with all that violence and anger you got pent up? Do something great for America. Taking your anger and your violence out on children, it has to be, honestly, one of the worst, most perverse things that I've ever seen men do. And it's men doing this, by the way. And this is why I say each and every single one of you, you ought to be disgusted. Because you know what they say, all money isn't good money. And anybody, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care if I hurt their feelings, if you're working for ICE right now, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't care if you're not even in the field. You should be ashamed of yourself because the whole agency, is making you all look bad. And you should be right now going into management and saying, listen, I need this money. I'm talking to the people that might be reasonable. And I'm getting on you because you should be holding them accountable as your coworkers. All right. Listen, I need this money. But honestly, I can't work for a company or an organization that's out here doing this because at the end of the day, the average person, if they think I work for ICE, I'm going to be catching hell. So either y'all fix this or I'm done. And you should hand in your letter of resignation immediately. All right, because this is disgusting. And then you want to add insult to injury, ladies and gentlemen. The granddaughter of Charlotte's Web is upset because ICE is using Charlotte's Web. All right. And I'll just say this. I'll just read it to you. You can go look this up. This is in the AP. All right. The Trump administration is calling its new immigration sweep in North Carolina's largest city, Operation Charlotte's Web. But the granddaughter of E.B. White, the author of the classic 1952 children's tale, Charlotte's Web, said the wave of immigrant arrests goes against what her grandfather and his beloved book stood for. Quote, he believed in the rule of law and due process, Martha White said in a statement. He certainly didn't believe in masked men in unmarked cars raiding people's homes, workplaces without IDs or summons. All right. And this just goes, ladies and gentlemen, to point out just the sheer violation of what's been going on. She goes on to say her grandfather died in 1985. And she works as his literary executor. She pointed out that in Charlotte's Web, the spider, who is the main character, devoted her life on the farm to securing the freedom of a pig named Wilbur. This is where I get upset. How many of you remember the movie and the book Charlotte's Web out there? How many of you remember that? How many of you, seriously? I'm going to raise my hand. That was one of the rare, because I'm a tough person. I'm very strong-minded. That was honestly one of the rare times I can actually remember that I had to cry. I mean, oh my God, the relationship, the spider, the weaving of the webs. Wilbur's a great pig. It was a very touching story. I cried, you cried too, Wilbur. And to know these people like Gregory Bavino, what did one commenter say? To cover up for their web of lies, they've put a beloved children's book title into a nasty, predatory raid like this. This is where we get into the Epstein behavior, right? Where they are communicating that they are expected to ensnare children in the web. See, I didn't write this, but that's how they've taken an innocent story and just turned it into an Epstein nightmare. So because of that, I am going to send every single person right now that's working for ICE. And listen, if you watch my show, I would hate to do it to you if you work for ICE and you watch my show, because you clearly could be a good person. But y'all got to start standing up to these demons out here that are out here ruining children's stories like Charlotte Web. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons where they belong. All right? Straight to hell. Don't ruin Charlotte's Web.
Silence, you MAGA daily.
I will be honest with you and tell you that when it came down to the election, there were a lot of people who really believed that the Republicans and the president were all about getting the bad guys out. People truly believed your words, but your actions are not matching up.
Facts.
Because I've got the receipts showing that they are not matching up. And
Yo,
so
Jasmine.
call us a little paranoid in believing that the hypocrisy may continue to come from across the aisle. Speaking of hypocrisy, I do want to point out, since we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, because we couldn't talk about Epstein before.
Oh.
If y'all recall, we were gone for about 2 months because we couldn't talk about Jeffrey Epstein. And now everybody wants to act as if they want to have like a real honest conversation about the victims and the survivors and everybody else. Where was this conversation a long time ago? And I know that y'all love to go back and say that Joe Biden didn't do it. You know, Joe Biden is blamed for everything. Joe Biden didn't do anything and it was Joe Biden's fault. And why wasn't Joe Biden? Joe Biden didn't campaign on it. Right. I just want to be clear. If y'all can run me the tape, then run me the tape. But you know, when you campaign and you go out and you make a promise, then we evaluate whether or not you actually meet your promises. So listen, if you can have this honest conversation about Epstein now, let's just go ahead with this lame duck president and be honest about everything that the American people care about.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
They care about affordability.
Hold on.
They care about the fact that literally people are starving in this country because we have 42 million people. And I don't remember any one of you during that almost 2-month break deciding to go on faux news or any other news outlet and say, you know what, it is wrong to have 42 million people that are relying on $6 a day to eat. And we have the money because somehow our president was able to find under the couch cushion, the one that JD wasn't sitting on, under the couch cushion, he was able to find 40. How much did he find to send to Argentina?
Billion.
40, there we go. 40 billion to send to Argentina. But those emergency funds, he couldn't find them emergency funds so that Americans could eat. So listen,
Jasmine.
if y'all are gonna be honest and talk about Epstein right now, let's be honest about everything that is causing y'all to lose real bad. Did y'all see the election results on November 4th? It didn't go very well. So let's just start having honest conversations so that hopefully some of y'all in some of these tight seats, maybe y'all can get reelected and we can just work together.
Boom, W's in the chat for Jasmine. You said no more free handouts. Come on up here. Let me explain something to you. Whoever this is, Beto isn't available to join the guest request. Thank you, mods, for pinning what this demon just said. They rejected my request to get in the box, so it doesn't matter. I'll take good care of this. All right, you want to talk about no more free handouts? Well, do us a favor and take that message to this knucklehead right here, who's helping himself to the U.S. Treasury to the tune of around $230 million. Yeah, go look into that, all right? And the one that's actually giving away that $40 billion to Argentina, because Argentina seems to be able to get a free handout. You see how you've played yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me warm up the lake of fire. We got a MAGA demon out here. Don't give me the extra $6 a day. I don't deserve it, but you could go ahead and give Argentina $40 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like Donald Trump says. They don't love themselves and they don't love the country. Join me in sending this demon where he belongs, straight to hell. It's easy to do.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
If I were a Trump supporter, I would never go on TikTok Live and argue with any Democrat about what's going on right now. If I were a Trump voter, I would avoid doing that because there's only one way out, and it's through being totally embarrassed and humiliated or exposed for being a disgusting, vile creature. That's the only way out. Because at this moment, you've failed. Donald Trump has failed you at this moment. And if it wasn't because us Democrats and independents and real Republicans out here, if it wasn't for the fact that we actually cared about ourselves and our country, it'd be Jim Jones 2.0. W Zeus. Now, what I need to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going back in history a little bit, and this is to my Arab brothers and sisters in the city of Dearborn, Michigan, who, in my opinion, committed a serious act of betrayal to the United States of America during the last election cycle, because for some strange reason, you couldn't bring yourselves to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. And it's not even about your religion at this point. It really isn't. It's really about just good old-fashioned common sense and understanding. it seems we have a group of people in this country who don't know America's history, especially when it comes to racism and misogyny. You don't know it. And you've actually taken the bait and believed that if you come to America, you know, and I get it, you might come from countries where things are terrible and things like that, because I've been to some of those countries, that all of your dreams will come true, and you had this Disney-like version of how things worked in America. And you did one thing, and it's super bad. You didn't listen to the black people who had been here, who've been telling you, hey, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. So these people in Dearborn, Michigan, they declined to support Vice President Kamala Harris. And what we'll do is we'll go through this together, because something happened yesterday that I want to make sure I address. And I could get into trouble about this, but at this moment, the cat's out of the bag. So let's listen to them, first of all, when they started to regret their vote because of what Donald Trump said he was about to do with Gaza, all right?
Days before the last presidential election, Donald Trump was the invited guest at the Great Commoner restaurant in Dearborn, Michigan. Albert Abbas says he extended that invitation, a decision he is now reflecting on, given all that has happened in the last 24 hours.
So this video is from CNN, by the way. Just type in, hear what voters who didn't vote for Harris because of Gaza are saying. And it's dated, what is the date on this video? Let me see if I can get you the date real quick, all right? They usually have the date, all right? It's about 9 months ago, so I guess back in February. So February 6, 2025. So they invited the demon himself to Dearborn, Michigan. And in February, which is basically less than a month after Trump had been in the White House, they already started getting cold feet because of what Trump said about Gaza. They didn't understand that this story hadn't even began. This story that the mess that they got themselves in by bringing the wolf into the hen house. Oh, it wasn't just what Trump was going to do in Gaza, and I got more for that.
Many in the community are at a loss for words. Last night was a very rough night for most of us.
Abbas is Arab American and one of a number of Democrats who voted for Trump. Abbas says he hoped Trump would do more than President Joe Biden did to help Palestinians suffering in Gaza.
Oh, so a Democrat voted for Trump. That was your first mistake. And God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
But after Trump said Palestinians should leave Gaza so it can be redeveloped, Abbas says not only does he feel betrayed, he's hearing from a number of people angered over his past support of Trump.
People were really, really frustrated. And I don't think there's anyone to blame at the end of...
No. There is someone to blame, sir, and it's you. With your ignorance, with your misogynist and racism, and it's self-hate. If you're a Democrat and you voted for Donald Trump, it's really only two reasons. You hate yourself and you hate your country because you don't understand what you got yourselves into.
Today, as Arab Americans or Muslims, we really didn't have much of a choice.
Dearborn.
See, that's an insult. When you said that, you didn't have much of a choice. So are you saying to us that Vice President Kamala Harris is worthless? That's how I took that. See, there has to be consequences for treason like this. This is treason at the highest order. All right? This is treason at the highest order, and it's a zero tolerance at this moment. If I got to convince you, if I got to do your homework for you, the least you could do is respect the fact that you're getting a passing grade because of me, but you didn't. You spit in our faces. All right, and this is back in February.
A Detroit suburb is home to the largest Arab American population in the United States, a community which helped Trump carry the critical swing state. He won 42% of the vote in Dearborn versus Vice President Harris with 36% and Jill Stein with 18%. In 2020, Biden handily carried the city with 69%. Faye Nimmer voted for Trump in 2024 out of frustration over the previous administration's support of Israel. Now, she is troubled by the president's proposal to move Palestinians out of Gaza.
I mean, it's very concerning and it's infuriating.
Personal feelings, you're infuriated, but standing by your decision for now to have voted for Trump.
Correct.
You hear that? You hear what she just said? Even as this is back in February. She's standing behind her decision to vote for Trump. She has these. Should have listened to black folks when we was trying to tell you this man is bad news for you. And it ain't just Gaza that she has to worry about. It's not just Gaza. And so what I'll do is, now this was back in February. Let me give you some background on somebody that all of us who've been on this show for a while may have heard of. His name is Jacob Lang, approximately 30 years old. Okay. This is a MAGA demon, Jacob Lang. Let me just give you a little bit of background. He's from New York. Yeah. Oh, guess what Jacob Lang did? He participated in the Stop the Steal rally in Washington, D.C. and stormed the Capitol. Federal prosecutors, they charged him with multiple serious offenses, including assaulting on law enforcement officers, allegedly using a baseball bat and a stolen riot shield to strike police, civil disorder, and obstruction of an official proceeding. Video evidence showed him in front of the lines with clashes with police officers outside of the Capitol in the Lower West Terrace Tunnel for extended periods. He claims he acted in self-defense and helped to save lives during the chaos. He was arrested shortly after the event and spent over 4 years in pre-trial detention, much of it in solitary confinement, becoming one of the longest held January 6 defendants without a trial. He refused plea deals and styled himself a, quote, political prisoner or a, quote, J6 patriot. Now, why am I bringing up, who did I say? Jacob Lang, Jake. They call him Jake. Why am I bringing up Jake? And why did I just give you that information about Dearborn, Michigan and the treason that was committed by the Arab population? Well, it seems, ladies and gentlemen, and this, you can go look this up. Jake made his way to Dearborn, Michigan, and it looks like this was yesterday. I could be wrong, but go and look it up. And he gave an anti-Muslim speech at City Hall. And so what we'll do is we'll get this on the record, all right? Because this is what we were trying to tell you ultimately you're going to encounter in this country.
The Muslim community is looking to drag us back. They're looking to oppress women, oppress homosexuals. They're looking to destroy everything that makes America great. President Trump, send ICE into Dearborn. These people have overstayed their visas. They're H-1B chain migration invaders, and they have come to this country to destroy our way of life. We know exactly your laws in your book about lying to our faces, pretending to be Americans, wearing your suits, but that doesn't happen anywhere else where you guys are in charge. There are 53 Muslim majority countries, and in all of them, it is tyranny, destruction, it is shithole living. We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country.
This is Jake Lang, a certified MAGA demon, a J6 patriot. He's gone to Dearborn, Michigan, demanding that Donald Trump bring ICE there to get the Muslims out of there. This is what he's doing. Look at this. Gregory Jones says, W Jake. Gregory doesn't even understand what Gregory's saying. But and I played this clip because there's something in here that's very important. They welcomed this, wittingly or unwittingly, by saying that Vice President, and I can't speak for all of them. I'm pretty sure there's some good Muslims out there that voted for Kamala Harris. So this isn't directed for you. But it's similar to Latinos for Trump in a way. You didn't understand what you were getting yourselves into when you went to that voting booth with that clouded, or maybe you were possessed. You didn't understand why all of us were enraged and incensed and yelling at the top of the hills, don't do it. They convinced you we were doing that because we just wanted to get Trump TDS. And you said, I'm smarter than Zeus. I'm smarter than all the Democrats. I see Donald Trump as a good person, and I see Kamala as a terrible person, valueless, worthless. We didn't have a choice. We only had one choice, voting for the criminal. And you literally are getting what you're paid for. Donald Trump, number one, he didn't do what he said he was going to do when it came to Gaza, right? You got mad at that. And now the second wave of this is affecting you, right? The ICE, where now you are going to feel what it's like to be a person of color in America. And so, you know what? It is what it is. You worked real hard for it. And again, it's with great pleasure that I do this. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. And I didn't want to do this, but I need to do it because I hope next time we have this test as a country, all of y'all use your common sense and quit letting people scare you into doing things that ultimately translate into your self-destruction. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W. Zeus. And I'll just say this. Every citizen is responsible for doing their own research when it comes to looking into the candidates that they go and vote for. Like me, I'm just a tool to use in that process. But never forget, it is ultimately your responsibility to do your own research. Don't just go off the vibes. No, you better look at the fact that there are people in this country who make a living off of preying on your ignorance. And I say that primarily to MAGA because right now they're still getting they're still getting taken advantage of. And you know what? That's a huge W, Zeus. All right. Now, the other thing now, people go, well, okay, Zeus, what do you want to do now, Zeus? Well, we gotta go straight to the horse's mouth, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And this definitely has a lot to do with Donald J. Trump. And his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, all right? But before we dive into that, I want to make sure I address something that keeps coming up, all right? And I haven't addressed this, and TikTok, this is for educational purposes only. Donald Trump met with MBS yesterday, and he said something that's very, very concerning. And I'm picking up on things Donald Trump says a little more these days, especially since the Epstein files have came out. He says Trump blows everybody away. This is what he said. All right. He said Trump blows everybody away. And I said, what does that mean? What does that mean?
And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plans to go now. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away.
You hear what he said? He starts talking about relationships, and then he says, outside of Trump, because I blow everybody away. And we all heard the emails. Shay, you just said it, Bubba. So, I just want to get this on the record. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something out, and it's called the...
I choose to believe that Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's dick.
Did y'all hear that?
I choose to believe that Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's dick. So I choose to believe that. So you guys can say whatever you want to say.
Donald sucking Bubba's dick, slurping nut like his mother, going guap, guap, guap on his Arkansas brother, playing that shit like a saxophone. Presidential topic while they're all alone. Don't give a fuck about Hillary. Donald Trump blow it up like a war 3. Trump suck Bill's dick, got his big old belly sick from the clean ton.
And I choose to believe that Donald Trump sucked Bill Clinton's dick.
Oh! W Zeus. And I do too. TikTok for entertainment purposes only. All right, we only gonna do that once because I don't want to get too much trouble. But that's out there. I choose to believe it too. You can do it too. All right, that's a huge W Zeus. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, though, ladies and gentlemen. They were talking about Jeffrey Epstein. All right, we're going to go 34. Okay, so what happened is a reporter questioned Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein, and I want America to keep paying attention to this. For some strange reason, Donald Trump has a problem with women, and maybe it's because of the whole Bill Clinton thing. I don't know. But his reaction to these questions about Jeffrey Epstein, it sounds like a guilty man.
Dealing with a bad president and he was able to get away. We have now, I think we have the strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's coming in unless they come in legally. we're taking very weak waters where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good? I don't know if that is right, but it's pretty good.
Why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know?
So she asked, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files, right? Easy question to answer. And if he was a real man, he would answer it with dignity and respect for the office as president. But when he's not an alpha, this is beta male behavior. He goes directly and starts to attack the woman reporter. And I got judgment for Donald Trump for this because, sir, that shouldn't be normalized. That kind of conduct, Donald Trump, it's not going to be normalized over here, especially. So let's listen to Donald Trump totally disrespect the woman, and ultimately himself in the process.
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psyched you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm going to stop Donald Trump right there. Does anyone in the audience think Donald Trump has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein? Does anyone out there really believe Donald Trump when he says he has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, he has no respect for women. He has none. I could go into why I believe that's why him and Epstein got along. Yeah, look at that. Nobody in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. We got over 1,000 people in here. And not one person in here believes Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody knows it. Snuggles, Tiny Tank Top, Tim Tom, and the Russian Bears. You all know it. When Epstein says, I know how dirty Donald is, when he says, I could bring him down, and then the Bubba thing, who was he alone with for an hour at Epstein's house? And he's Trump. You should hear the way that the MAGA males, I don't even want to call them, it's the male species. The MAGA male, I don't call them men, because men is a thing you reserve for people who actually have, values and morals. But the MAGA male species is going to go down in American history, ladies and gentlemen, as the most vile and corrupt, disgusting thing to ever exist on the face of this earth. And so because of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's honestly with great pleasure that I do this. For Donald Trump yesterday, you keep disrespecting the women reporters because they're asking you serious questions about your ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And instead of showing us that you're able to contain yourself and respond from a place of genuine understanding and concern and show us that you're actually in control of your emotions, you fail every time. I would encourage every single reporter from this point forward, if you want this nightmare in America to end, do not ask Donald Trump about anything other than Jeffrey Epstein. If he brings up the 21 trillion, say, yeah, that's impressive, Mr. President, but please tell me more about why you and Epstein had a falling out. And if he try, the economy is so hot. Yeah, that's awesome. But you remember that property dispute you and Epstein got into? Oh, look at I secure at the border. That's awesome. But please tell me why Ghislaine Maxwell is in a minimum security. And just do it until he kicks you out of the White House. All right? Because this is where it's really at. This is where the rubber needs to meet the road. Don't give him any credit for anything from here on out. Just keep asking him about Jeffrey Epstein and letting him crash out. All right? So could you do that for me, press? W, Zeus. But in the meantime, and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get down to business. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the Lake of Fire once again. This goes out to every single person out there that watches Donald Trump and still supports him, knowing that Big Zeus is right about everything. I haven't lied not one time yet on this show, right? I haven't lied not one time. But they'll still get mad at me because what am I doing? I'm waking their game up and making them see things from a perspective that they didn't want to do it, right? But they still hate me. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these evil people where they belong, straight to hell. Now, before I move on to the last part, I just want to get this, and we all may have known this, but this came across my timeline, and I said I got to share this out. Prince Andrew's biographer says in a leaked video that Epstein and Melania were lovers. Now, I don't know if this is true because I don't want to come, but let's play this.
Who Andrew took to the island, a woman called Epstein. So here we are with him in Mar-a-Lago, as you see with Epstein. Sorry, can you see okay? Epstein, a woman called Gwendolyn Beck, who Andrew took to the island, and Melania. I had various references in my book to Melania Trump. Epstein had actually been her lover before Trump, but Trump didn't like that in the book, so he ordered it to be taken out of the book.
So I don't know if that's true, but I choose to believe it is. It's my opinion, right? All right. And where I'm at with this is this just to me makes it more, you get more understanding about why Donald Trump is moving heaven and earth to try to avoid the Epstein files being released, right? And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to patch you into a real quick word from Lawrence O'Donnell, who has an update about the bill that's headed to Donald Trump's desk.
And Mark Wayne Mullen, who can be so combatively defensive of Donald Trump in Senate hearings that he looks like he might throw a punch sometimes, found himself in the final moment of the Trump humiliation in the United States Senate today, shaking hands with the United States Senator who Donald Trump hates the most. And then, at 5:20 p.m.,
watch this.
Chuck Schumer said this.
Watch this, MAGA. This is going to hurt you.
The American people have waited long enough. Jeffrey Epstein's victims have waited long enough. Let the truth come out.
Yeah.
Let transparency reign. And I urge my Republican colleagues, let the Senate act today. And so, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate receives H.R. 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act from the House, the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. The bill be considered read 3 times and passed with no intervening action or debate, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection? Without objection, so ordered.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House. I yield the floor.
After Chuck Schumer succeeded in unanimously passing the House bill in the Senate, the humiliated and overwhelmed Speaker of the House used a lying excuse to try to explain why John Thune wasn't even there and didn't offer a single amendment in the Senate, didn't even speak. Mike Johnson claimed that because he was at dinner with Donald Trump and the dictator of Saudi Arabia when Chuck Schumer led the Senate vote at 5:20 p.m., that he didn't know what was happening. And that is a lie. The Saudi dictator didn't arrive at the dinner until 6:45 p.m. Mike Johnson also lied about what actually happened on the Senate floor, claiming that Chuck Schumer somehow pulled a fast one on John Thune, just snuck it in there when John Thune wasn't looking.
Oh, really?
As I said, Chuck Schumer announced at 3:15 p.m. on the Senate floor that he was going to ask for unanimous consent. And Mike Johnson knew that at 3:15 p.m. because it was on television in his office. Here is that moment.
Here, listen up, Kimmy.
Later today, I will ask unanimous consent for the Senate to hold a vote to pass the House Epstein bill.
That's Chuck Schumer. Mike Johnson. He's lying. Everyone's getting tied up. All the Republicans seem to be tied up in this Epstein stuff. You know, they're going after, Democrat. Oh, she was getting a text message. You know, they're trying to say a Democrat getting a text message from Jeffrey Epstein is the big scandal. Oh, no. It's one thing to get a text message from Jeffrey Epstein. You know, I get text messages from people Doesn't mean I have anything to do with the crimes they're doing. Knock it off. But what we really want to do is find out what Donald Trump was doing with whoever the victim was alone. What was he doing with this girl alone for hours at Epstein house? That's what we really need to get to the bottom of.
The entire Congress knew that as soon as Chuck Schumer said it. But now, Mike Johnson has decided he has to lie his way out of his humiliation of having told his members that the Republican leader of the Senate would absolutely amend the bill after they voted for it. Here is the pathetically humiliated, lying Speaker of the House.
I'm going to get to judgment.
When the holidays roll
We're
around.
going to get to judgment because this is what I wanted to do. I got to send some folks to hell. All right, it's just a quick second.
Any reaction to Leader Thune, you seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
Wow. We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I'm standing with the Crown Prince. We couldn't call.
Every member of Congress who didn't know it already knows now that Mike Johnson has no idea what he's talking about when he tells them what's going to happen next in legislation. He is a liar or a fool to have suggested that the Senate would amend the bill, and all of his members know that now. It is impossible for a Speaker of the House to achieve a more complete legislative and strategic humiliation than Mike Johnson achieved today, and it is impossible for a president to lose every vote of every senator in his party in the United States Senate on a vote that is entirely about that president himself and his own personal history and friendship with a sex trafficker and rapist of children. Donald Trump's dictatorship over Republicans in Congress is coming apart.
W. Lawrence O'Donnell. I love the way that he narrates Donald Trump's downfall, all right? And I'll let Chuck Schumer get one last word in. And this is Schumer saying that we're going to make sure we get all of the Epstein files.
So the great news is now the House has passed it. The Senate has virtually passed it. It goes to the president's desk. I was going to say we have a lot more work to do. First, who knows how long the House will try to hold it. We should put pressure on Johnson to send it right over to us.
Right now.
Second, the president has said he'll sign it, but who the hell knows with him? He can change his mind on a whim. But third, and maybe most important, and I just had a meeting of 10 senators to discuss this, we got to make sure we get all of the Epstein files, all. They can't fuck around with this. They can't say, oh, we'll give you this, but there are legal reasons we can't give you that. And we are going to be pursuing them relentlessly to get everything. Because I don't trust this administration. I don't trust Bondi. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust the president. And they could screw around with this. It'll be all of our jobs to be on them and make sure that we get everything.
Boom. So that's W. Chuck Schumer. He's doing something that I actually stand behind right now. Every single one of y'all in Congress need to be putting your careers on the line to get those Epstein files out and make sure the American people have transparency. You got to do it for the survivors, for the victims, all right? And just to make the country really a better place. So thank you. But in the meantime, Edward, please. Edward, why would you say I need to be careful what I wish for? See, Edward, and again, some of y'all I genuinely think are genuinely down to earth people, but when you say stuff like that, it's like you hit the reset button on the relationship. And so what I'll do is this, because I don't got all day and all morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire, because there's still some folks out here that don't think fat meat is greasy. Edward, are you talking to yourself? Because you're not talking to me. Maybe you didn't hear me when I said this. I don't care what party they're in. If they've committed crimes, just like all of us understand in the real world, if you've committed a crime, you got to be held accountable, all right? End the discussion. It ain't no party over anything else. No, we want accountability. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these deranged Trump voters who still support Donald Trump directly or indirectly with ignorance, blind loyalty. Join me in sending them straight to hell. And to the people out there still supporting Trump, I just want to remind you that this is what Donald Trump thinks about you.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And a lot of us say both. Now, I got to get to the second half of the show. If you've been here and you survived it, W's in the chat for you. You've survived a lot. I got through everything that I felt I needed to address before we get into the chaos that usually comes when we start trying to engage people on the right who are in a perpetual state of denial. Right? These folks, they never ever can be honest with the American people about all the things that are going on in the country. So we'll try it. Is there anybody out there that still supports Donald Trump? Please identify yourselves in the comment section. All right. And then I'll say, and why don't you come on up here and let us know why you're still doing that. All right. W. Kabira! Thank you. You're right, Rick. Denial. TDS is Trump. Yeah. And you know what they say about TDS? They think I have TDS. If you read those emails, I would say Epstein had a strong case of TDS, and MAGA needs to come to grips with that, right? Eric Ashante, Trump 2036. Wow, are you talking about years in prison? Where are the Trump voters at? This is my favorite part of the show. If you're a Trump voter, please identify yourselves in the comment section. Identify yourselves real quick. Especially the conservative women. I want to talk to the conservative women. I don't want to talk to the MAGA men as much anymore because their silence right now speaks volumes. Remember we had this person named DJ? Remember DJ? Has anyone heard from DJ? Nope. Why? He's spiritually conflicted right now, Zeus. Why? Because no matter where he tries to spin, no matter how many questions he tries to throw at Big Zeus, we don't take the bait. We spin it right back. That's great. DJ, and I know where DJ in the conservative man's mind is. It's on Biden, it's on the Democrats, because they're all like Scott Jennings, right? But when you just DJ, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom, sit down in the corner right now, and I'm going to give you a quiz, and you only got a couple of options, true or false. Epstein hung out with Donald Trump, and they were best friends. True or false? And I would just put a bunch of those questions. And then at the end of the test, I'd say, and if you fail the test, you got to forfeit your house, your mortgage, any of your personal property. You got to forfeit it. And they know what would happen if they did that. W. Zeus. Stacey Plaskett is the first casualty. Oh, come on up here. Westmania. I knew I was going to get one of them. Westmania, come on up here. Come on up here. If you believe Stacey Plaskett is the first Epstein casualty, come on up here. I would love to have an honest conversation with you because I could play what she said. I could play what she said yesterday, and it would totally rock your world. You don't believe that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's a person. Mods, you know what to do with Westmania, whatever you want to call himself. Let's go ahead and warm up the lake of fire for that demon. Too afraid to get in the box and actually speak on what he's saying in the comment section. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending him straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Good morning. Hi, Erica. How are you doing? Good morning. Nice to see
I'm doing well. How are you today, love?
I'm doing good. Just waiting for those files to, Trump to sign that bill.
I know that's right. I knew you were going to join. As soon as I took a bite of my cheese stick, I was like, Zeus is going to accept my request.
Oh,
And look at here.
Oh, wow. Look how God worked. Look how God
I know,
worked.
right?
Yeah,
Called it.
I don't get to interact with you, when I go live all the time. So it's always an honor to be able to do that.
Don't make me blush.
No, W, Zeus. I mean, because I can do that. Because when you're a Rizzler, you can do anything like that. Nutty can't do that. Nutty can't do stuff like that because he has to work hard to do it because he's got a lot going on. But we'll deal with that later. But what is it you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I was listening to you and you were talking about Mike Johnson. I just want to say that Mike Johnson definitely has his seat reserved and you know where, the Lake of Fire next to Reagan. So it's reserved. But I think a few things. I don't know, Zeus. I don't know if the files are going to be released in full like people are wanting them to be.
Yeah.
I really have this sneaky suspicion that like in about 2 weeks, Bondi is basically Johnson is laying the groundwork as to why Trump won't sign. right? He's
Yeah.
laying the groundwork because there needs to be amendments. So they're going to try to push that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Okay, I'm following
Bondi's
it.
she's gonna hold her press conference and she's gonna basically like throw some papers in our face.
Oh.
It basically is gonna be inconsequential
Mm.
is what it's gonna be. But then she's gonna announce that we can't release the remaining files because they're sealed due to an open investigation.
Yeah. You think
Yeah.
so?
Hmm.
And well,
I could be wrong.
no, I'm glad that you're putting, that kind of angle on it because to your point, I don't believe this is going to be an easy thing for Donald Trump to bring himself to do, right? Could you imagine signing a bill that is pretty much going to nuke your presidency? Who would
Exactly.
I mean, that's going, and you know how he gets down, but I'm
Yes.
hoping I hope that he does something very good because he said they're investigating the Democrats. And honestly, I think the way that the connections work, if you got a Democrat, you're at least going to get 3 or 4 Republicans. You know what I'm
True.
saying? And
Yep.
then and then that leads to 4 or 5 more. So no matter how he tries to slice and dice this, I genuinely believe he's in a lot of trouble. And
Yes.
honestly, it might get to the point where we go, you know what? Let's just do this the old-fashioned way. Let's just go ahead and impeach him. He'll never give us the
Hmm.
truth. He'll never give us the truth. And just like you saw the House and the Senate do something spectacular, right? You see how many votes we got?
Yes.
That's incredible, isn't it?
417.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then a
In the
hundred
house.
percent, yeah, 100%. And you go, if you can get that kind of success on that particular issue, I think there's room for you to get that kind of success when it's time to impeach his behind.
I'm hoping so. Like if this current session of Congress would did take steps to actually impeach him and then the Senate would actually convict and remove, that
Mm-hmm.
would be historic. Like
Hey
literally
man, it's
absolutely
music to my
historic.
ears, Erica.
Because
It's music to my
I
ears.
can
And
imagine the party you gonna throw.
yeah. Oh, I'm gonna throw. Oh, and no, it's like it's gonna be a gangster party. You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
is. And
Okay.
And I'll just say one last thing. If we can't get this session of Congress to do it, then hopefully so. Our prayers can be answered with the midterms and the Democrats get the supermajority in Congress, not
Yeah.
just one chamber, but both.
Mm.
And then they
Ooh.
definitely could move forward with
Oh.
articles of impeachment
Oh.
against him and get him up out the paint.
Oh. Oh. Let me ask
But
you because you brought that
yes,
up. Do
sir.
you subscribe to what Donald Trump and Mike Johnson and Laura Loomer are all saying that if we do pull off those victories, do you really think a lot of these people are going to go to jail?
Yes,
Mm.
most definitely. Steve Bannon said it himself.
Mm.
Steve Bannon said if the Democrats win in 2026 and 2028, a lot of us, including myself, are going to jail. He said we're going to
Wow.
prison.
Oh. Who would you have top? Let's just say top 5. Who do you think should go to jail? I'm just curious. I'm having fun. Who you
Who
think
should
should?
go to jail? Oh,
Yeah.
snap. Definitely, of course, Mango. Mango, like Wig has to go. So that's going
Thank
to
you.
be Trump for those that don't know.
Okay.
He's committed so many crimes. Good
True.
grief. I'm pretty sure he's been robbing us blind.
Yeah.
Also, of course, Bannon needs to go because he's an accessory.
Mm-hmm. True.
Um, Stephen Miller needs to go for crimes against humanity.
Facts.
So does Hegseth or
Oh.
Kegseth.
Oh.
He has to go.
Wow.
And number 5, I can't decide between Noam,
Oh.
Loomer, or Bondi
Oh.
because all 3 of them need to go. So I got a top 8.
W, Erica. Yep, yep. And you're right because you know what? I believe that if we do get to the place where we can actually do what needs to be done, there's going to be so many investigations. And actually, I think if you talk about Trump, it's going to go into the children too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because one
Yes.
crime
Yes.
leads to another. You don't get to pick who your accomplices are when it's time to commit crime. You got who you got,
Exactly.
and we know who they are. Wow, wow! Someone wrote Tom
Exactly.
Homan.
Holman too. All of them. Somebody put all of them.
Yeah,
All of them.
yeah,
All of
yeah,
them need to go.
yeah.
I was
Wow.
asked for a top 5. I came with a
Yeah,
top 8.
and I love it. I love it. Wow, wow. Well,
Awesome. Well, Zeus, thank you so much for
you're
having me.
welcome.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
If I could take 2 seconds just to do a shameless plug, if I'm allowed, I got it. Oh, yay! Love you, Zeus.
You're always welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Guys, so Hector, you guys know Hector Talks. He's absolutely amazing. Hector and I have teamed up to present to you the Fun and Facts show. It's basically just our little live where we stay away from the debates and we just talk about the current events. We talk about a little bit about everything. I'm the fun, he's the facts.
Okay.
Right? We'll be doing it every
Hector Talks.
Wednesday. Yep. At 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So while you're at work, while you're driving, you can take a listen to us, or while you're just chilling at home, however you want to do it. Check Hector and I out here on the TikToks or on the Tube or Twitch. It's up to you how you want to do it. But guys, we would appreciate your support. So thank you so very much. And it's just going to be a good time.
Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the beautiful Erica a huge round of applause. No lies detected. Wow, they really love you out here.
Oh, thank you, Zeus. I appreciate y'all so very much. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
All right, see you later. Thank you. Yeah, wow, ladies and gentlemen, as you get that. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. It looks like TikTok updated the app. I didn't even notice it. Oh wow, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, once again, another amazing panelist. This is why shows like this are important. It's one thing what I do, but it's an always beautiful thing to see what all the other voices are doing on this app. So W to the chat too, because you all make it possible. Seriously, I don't say thank you enough because usually I'm locked in doing what I do. But really, we all appreciate you. All right, let's move it along, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we have next? Welcome. Good morning, my beautiful friend Shay. Welcome. I'm gonna try to get through as many of you as possible today. They get on me. Yes,
Yeah. I'll be fast. I mean, the thing that just keeps coming in my head is, when are people going to get sick and tired of this man talking to women like he does? I mean, enough is enough. I am so sick of the conservative party constantly talking about women and trans women and bathrooms and spaces and sports, and we got to protect the children, we got to protect the women, we got to do this and we got to do that. And I don't see one of you, not damn one of you, calling him out for the disgraceful ways he talks to women. He belittles women. He calls them piggies. He calls them dumb. He calls them ridiculous.
Yeah, he does.
All the time. He goes after these women. I want one of those women just to talk right back at him and say, listen here, if you don't want to have hard questions answered to you, why the fuck are you the president of the United States? Sorry, Mom.
She'll understand that.
Why are you the president of the United States? Mom. If you don't want to be asked a hard question, if you don't want to be held accountable of the people that you bring to the White House,
tell him.
On the anniversary of September 11th, when Gaza's been destroyed, all of this crap that y'all deal with, and you don't hold his feet to the fire, you don't talk to him, you don't say you shouldn't talk to women like that. He stands over them.
Yeah.
He puts his finger in their face. He tries to intimidate them. And it's absolutely the most ridiculous thing. I don't get you guys on the right, the fact that you're not talking about this, the fact that you're not defending these women and allowing him to do this. It's absurd. And you guys hold him up to this candle, and these young white men on this app running around going, I love Trump, because they've been red pilled. This is a problem. We're losing a generation of young men that are listening to the leader of the free world talk to women like he is and degrading them. Where is it? I mean, you voted for the man, right? Oh, Tiny Tank Top Tim, go stick your head in the toilet that you're cleaning. Seriously. While you're cleaning it, just give yourself a swirly, would you? Like, enough is enough. Like, the women don't deserve to be talked down to. For asking him questions, that's their job, is to ask him questions. He's freaking out over the Epstein files. And that's the reason he's so nervous and doing that. He doesn't, every time they ask him at the Epstein files, he gets all flustered and mad and how dare you ask me? Dude, it's the number one thing in the news. They have to ask you these questions. It's their job.
Yep.
You've never seen any other president belittle reporters when they've been asked the tough questions. Like, why did you lie about weapons of mass destruction? to get us into Iraq.
Yeah.
Well, come on. Why was the pullout of Afghanistan messy, President Biden? There's been a lot of tough questions. These presidents have had their feet to the fire, and he can't ever handle it. He's weak. You voted for this man. He's weak. He's fragile. He's narcissistic. He's a misogynist. This is what we're dealing with, and you guys are okay with this. You're not speaking out. No reporter deserves to be belittled. And it's always the woman. Always the woman. You guys don't stand for anything. I want to see you stand for something. I want to see you really stand by the things that you talk about. Right? I want to see that. Because I guarantee you there's not one transgender woman in these Epstein files.
Wow.
But yet you have demonized that group of people like they're dangerous. You know why? Because they may or may not still have body parts. And you know how dangerous men are in general. And so you've demonized trans women.
Wow. Yeah,
and it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. It really is.
Where are all of the conservative women at that are listening to this show? Is Shay wrong?
Yeah. Where's Logic and Liberty that stands on her platforms all the time talking about trans women in women's sports and preserving women's spaces? Where's Frizz? All these people that run on that topic constantly, and all they want to do is demonize a less than 1% marginalized community. And they're not doing anything. There's not one transgender woman that's ever done anything to a girl in a bathroom or a locker room. But yeah, you guys are, oh my God, we have to listen. I understand it. I'm a female athlete, was for many years. I understand what you're saying, but you're demonizing them until you come out with some evidence that's actually a danger to these women, and that these trans women can't just change in the coach's locker room. There's tons of things that they can do to keep people safe, including the trans woman athlete.
Yeah.
And there's so few of them, it doesn't even matter. It's ridiculous.
But they get mad at the men and women's sports, but in the video I played earlier, point made, but they have no problem with Trump walking in on girls changing in the dressing room.
Right. We're talking about them, or, running pageantries where he knew that these women were being trafficked from his Mar-a-Lago spa. He knew this and never did anything about it. He never protected these women. Where's the outrage? Did you hear about Maverick?
Who? Oh, I know who Maverick on the
Yeah, did you hear about her? She's burning her MAGA hats.
Nuh-uh.
Maverick.
The one that yelled at me with Wild Man. You know Wild Man, right? Heaven, is this true, Heaven?
It's so true. Yeah, guys.
Stop
Yep.
Hold up. No.
Yep.
No, Shay. What happened
I know.
now? What happened now? Wow.
Forget what it was. People have heard her go off, and I think it's over the Epstein files, the way he's calling it a hoax.
Oh, yeah.
Because he ran on it. You guys keep talking about Biden. He never ran on releasing the Epstein files, yet he's the one that released the 50,000 pages that exist.
I just can't keep taking these W's.
Yeah.
Does anybody want a W?
Right?
I've taken Shay, we've taken so many W's. Does anybody need a W right now? And again, if I'm assuming what you're saying is true, she has a long way to go.
Oh no, she does. Trust me. That doesn't mean she's going to suddenly flip and vote, Democratic. That we know that. But she
Maverick, come on over here, Maverick.
Donald Trump anymore.
Maverick, come on over here, please. We would love to check in with you.
If she can wake up, there's hope.
You need a W. I'm handing out W's to all of you in the chat. You all deserve it. W to the chat, because this is why it's important sometimes when we go into those red lives, and I'm a very patient person, but it's really the pressure we've been putting on them combined, where they're going,
it is.
This is truly indefensible. And to your point, Shay, you've watched Donald Trump attack Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yep.
A woman. You see him snapping at reporters. Quiet, piggy. Now, I'm a guy, and I've had to do a lot of work on my misogyny, and I'm still doing work, but I've had to unpack a lot of this stuff for myself and understand, like, wow, that's wrong. But when I see Trump doing that, it literally is almost like traumatizing in a way, because I see him doing it to them, and I say, that isn't his first time doing that. right?
No,
and the scenario and what's making him do it is they're questioning him about his ties to Epstein, who we all know in this country is the worst person that of our lifetime that a person could be, done harmful things to children. And so then I go,
Yep.
did he do this to the children? Has Trump ever done anything like this to a young girl?
I mean, we don't know, but
that's where my mind goes.
Evidence is right. Of course, we don't know, and we can't say it because we don't know it definitively.
Right.
But the pictures, the videos, his words, his grab him by the pee, and the running pageantry. A lot of these girls were filtered out of pageantries and model agencies. He ran these. He was good friends with these guys.
And that needs to be addressed. And so that's why I've been making a little bit more
connect
content.
The dots.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
yeah. I saw that interview and he called her Miss Quiet Piggy. He didn't call her Miss Piggy. He just said Piggy. No respect. And I saw that, and I initially I said I'm not even going to make a video about that because it's but it was eating away at me honestly for the 24 hours. And then I said I got to do the video to help do my part as a man in the middle of all of this, right? Because we have a responsibility as well, and that's why when I encounter and I talk to the conservative women out there, I say, don't try to pretend like you're okay with men being abusive.
Yeah.
You can't get away with I'm fine with because I love me an alpha. You know what they say? That's what they say. I love me an alpha man. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
That's not what an alpha man is.
No, it's not. But that's what they've been I mean, I grew up being conservative. You're taught that you're not supposed to be loud. You're not supposed to speak up. You're not supposed to have a voice in things. You're supposed to let the man lead you, be the head of the household. All of that. So sadly, conservative women do want to be led. They were trained to be like that, right?
Yep.
To think that that's how God designed the family and how this is supposed to do, and that. Men, they just give excuses to men, well, that's just men. And so the girls have to be the ones that don't tempt the men, right?
Yeah, all that.
What was she wearing? What did she say?
That's all
what
BS.
Did she lead to? Yeah.
That's all BS, and the men out there know better, and they should do the work to unpack all of that stuff that they've learned through watching movies and listening to the music and stuff like that. Their friends and so on. It's all fake. And the women that try to act like they're okay with it, I don't even let them in. I'm like, no, you're not. And I respect you. I respect myself. Even there's a lot of people on this app I disagree with, right? Especially some of the conservative women. At the end of the day, I say, you know what? Just do you.
Yeah.
Just do you. Yeah. And I go on about myself, but I'm happy Maverick at least had a moment of clarity to recognize it sounds like Epstein and Donald Trump woke her up. So I encourage her to continue moving in that direction. And, you're going to encounter a bunch of hatred and a bunch of vile and even threats, because that's what happens when you choose to walk away from the cult. But trust me, there's peace on the other side, and it's totally worth it. All right.
Yeah. And congrats to the Democrats for getting this vote yesterday. I've never seen 100% in both houses on a vote, but the Democrats did that.
Thank you.
And a few conservatives, but you know what it is? It's their voters. And Tiny Tank Talk Tim said they didn't run on it. Yes, they did. They ran on releasing these files and being transparent. It wasn't the only thing he ran on, but he did. And Pam Bondi promised, and Kash Patel promised, and Dan Bongino promised. All of these podcast bros, everybody wanted it released. And he said he would, and then it's taken him 10 months to finally, cow down. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting, like you and Erica talked. Will he really sign this? He has to. But how long is he going to delay this? But the pressure's on. That's the problem. The Republicans had to bend because their constituents are angry at them. Good. And that is the power of the people. Remember, guys, we can do this if we vote, if we use our voices. And that's why we got this done, because of us. And not sitting in a hole going, I don't know, both sides are bad and both are both are that. No, stop. This is how we can make change.
Bingo.
And we just proved it. So good job, everybody. I love you guys in the kingdom. Thank you, brothers.
Love you too. You're welcome, and thank you for bringing out very important topic up in the kingdom. It's very important. We got to respect women over here. W. Shay, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected.
I'll let you drop me on the phone.
Oh, I don't know how. I think.
Oh, I got you. I got it then.
I think because they changed the way it looks. I don't know how this thing works. Okay, all right. Yeah, I got it. Right, Lady Boss. W, Shay. Yeah, a strong man understands that, you have to be in control of yourself and never put yourself in a situation where you're harming women, all right? And if you do, you better be apologizing like your life depends on it, all right? Let's move it along. I had to learn that the hard way. Let's go. Let's move it along. Do I have anybody out there supporting Donald Trump? Block party November 5th to December 2nd. All right. Thank you, Queen Flea. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about being a decent human being. I could agree with that, all right? But then there are some issues that are about Republican and Democrat, and I would argue the issue around health care, that's definitely something the Democrats got a better understanding of. All right, do we have anybody out there supporting Donald Trump? Identify yourselves in the comment section, please. It doesn't take long. What are you afraid of? Remember, you're supposed to be alphas, but you're acting like a bunch of betas. All right. Bondi news conference soon. Okay, I want to hear that. We already know what Pam Bondi is going to be saying and doing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's move it along. Hey, Nutty, how are you?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Good morning. So first of all, I heard that little dig you had with Erica, but Erica knows the truth. Erica, what's up, bro? She knows the truth. But let's think about something for a moment. You had the Crown Prince at the White House, at the People's House on yesterday.
True.
Did people forget about Jamal Khashoggi? Because
I didn't.
It was that man who had him unalived. It was that man sitting in our house, a U.S. citizen. Y'all want to talk about America first. Y'all want to get the immigrants, the horrible, evil immigrants out of this nation. But yet we had a foreign nation unalive, a U.S. citizen, and then this person who sits in the seat of the People's House, because I will never give him the respect of calling him POTUS, never.
Yeah.
Inviting the very murderer that took the life of a U.S. citizen.
Wow.
Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? To have him on our soil and not detain his ass. Where's the outrage, MAGA? Tiny Tank Top 5X Tim. DJ. Snuggles.
Oh.
Where's the outrage?
Yes, Snuggles.
You want to talk about U.S. citizens being unalive, and yet this government that was sitting in our White House had a U.S. citizen unalive.
Valerie.
And y'all said nothing. Mum was the word. They threw a state dinner for this murderer on our dime. Where was the outrage? Moving right along.
Wow.
I grew up not too far from Dearborn.
Oh, really?
And I can tell you, Zeus, Dearborn is one of those places where absolutely very nice community. Love the community. It's one of those zip codes that it's upper middle class. It's one of those zip codes that's highly coveted to live in because schools are great, people are great, lots of things to do. Suburb of Detroit.
Yeah.
But Dearborn reminds me of Miami. And here's the connection for me. So when you think about Miami, there's a demographic in Miami that is overwhelming in Miami. And do you know what demographic I'm speaking of?
The Latino community?
Cubans, specifically.
Yeah.
So there's something about the Cubans that are in Miami. They have this feeling, this proximity of whiteness. They are very, very racist. Not only to people who are brown just like them, but people who are also black. Because they have this proximity to whiteness. That is how the Arabs are in Dearborn. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. They didn't vote for Donald Trump because of Gaza. That's the excuse. They voted for Donald Trump because Kamala was black and Kamala was a woman. Let's tell the truth, shame the devil. Now, could Palestine be a part of why they did that? 100%. 100%. But their underlying reasoning for voting for Donald Trump is because there wasn't a white man on the ticket for the Democrats. If there had been a white man, I don't care what the devil says, had there been a white man where Kamala was sitting, they would have given that vote to that white man.
Can you say that again? Can you say that again? Because Gregory is getting triggered.
Gregory, let me speak in plain English, and I will speak slow like I'm talking to a second grader. Had Kamala been Jeffrey Johnson as the nominee for the Democrats, Dearborn would have voted for him. But because Kamala, with that funny name, you know, like Barack, that funny name, and Kamala identifies as a black woman, they wouldn't vote for her. Now, y'all, I'm telling y'all from which I know. That's the community that I grew up in. No, it's not wrong. You can't tell me wrong. This is where I grew up. Come up here and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong about the community that I grew up in. Come tell me I'm wrong about the community that I grew up in.
I will come up here and I'll tell you that when Kamala was running, she told DNC delegates, she told Palestinian voices.
Hold on, gentlemen. Let's
Miss Harris. Let's get to Miss Harris. She told Palestinian voices that they need to be quiet, right?
What was that? Bah, what is that? I want to hear what
she
you
was
are saying.
Voices that they need to be quiet, kicked out people like Hassan Piker from the DNC.
Okay, that's your claim?
No, this isn't just a claim. This is
I'm just trying to figure out when you're done making your point.
Okay, yeah, this is the reality. They backpedaled the whole Zaka misinformation about the 40 beheaded babies. You can look this up. Zaka is a far-right extremist Israeli group who made claims that there was 40 beheaded babies. Biden came out and said that he saw the images of the 40 beheaded babies. None of that was actually true. And Kamala or Miss Harris also said that she saw the images of the 40 babies. She was complicit in all of this. We had 2 years. We had 2 years.
Okay, but now let Nutty respond, and while he's responding, I'm gonna look into some things.
First of all, I need you to stay on task. I need you to stay on task because nobody was talking about this idiocy that you're bringing up. I'm talking about the community in which I come from. And I'm telling you why it went down the way it went down. And you're telling me no, and you're bringing in your own ideology. Boy, goodbye.
Trump promised something.
Goodbye.
Hold on, Bob. Now, Bob, I want to say this. It says, no, Vice President Kamala Harris did not claim that the H group beheaded the 40 babies or anything like that. The widely circulated rumor of 40 beheaded babies originated from early unverified media reports, primarily I-24 News. Are you familiar with I-24 News?
24 News is the Israeli news.
Yeah, so they're saying unverified fact checks from sources like PolitiFact, NBC News, factcheck.org, and other concluded that while children were tragically unalived by H groups, the specific claim of 40 or dozens of babies being, evidence was not confirmed by Israeli officials or forensic reports. Okay. And so what I don't want to do, Ba, is like Nutty said, get off track. And the second thing is, You just can't come up here and say things about Vice President Kamala Harris without really getting into a lot of trouble. Because
Well, what I will say
no, Bob. So Nutty, I want to let Nutty finish doing what. Were you done with him, Nutty? Because
I wasn't. But
Okay.
this is why I get so angry. This is why I get angry because they just take things and they run with it. This is what they've heard, and so they automatically believe it. Because Zeus, he could have easily done a 3-second search just like you did.
Yeah.
He could have easily done that. But to tell me and to get off track as to what I was saying about the community that I come from, that I literally grew up in, I matriculated from that community.
Yeah.
And telling you about the people in that community, still great people. They will give you the shirt off your back. That is absolutely true. But the truth is, he wanted to change the narrative because he didn't like what I was saying. So he got up here and he changed the narrative.
Bob, we're running
Can I
into this
respond now?
because you're a Trump supporter, right?
No. I fucking hate Trump.
Did you vote for him? And don't curse, please. Did you vote?
My apologies. No, I have never voted for him. My family voted for him. I've cut my family off completely.
Oh, okay. So then who did
I'm a
you vote
third
for?
party voter.
Okay, well, I treat that.
So
like
he voted for Trump.
Yeah, I treat that like it's a Trump
Right.
vote.
Okay. I'm also going to tell you that my family
Bob.
is Palestinian, and
Bob,
2 years,
Bob,
2
Bob,
years of genocide under
Bob,
Biden.
Bob, please listen to me. All right. What has happened in Dearborn? Maybe you missed it. The Triple K is now raining down in Dearborn because of the decisions you just made. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, champ? How old are you?
I'm 32.
Are you familiar with the Triple K? And don't make me get Q Dog. I don't want Q Dog to do you. Do you know the Triple K and the history of them in the United States of America? Yes or no?
Yeah, I know the history, and I also
have you ever had your life direct? Have you ever? Hold on.
Now marching the streets.
Hold
here
on.
in my
Listen to me.
hometown.
I'm driving. You're not. Have you ever had your livelihood disrupted by the Triple K?
No, I have not.
Okay,
but
stop.
I have had my
Just stop.
livelihood.
Just stop.
Are you going to allow me to respond?
I
sir?
will. I will when I'm done, and I got to talk to Nutty because I'm already sensing that I'm losing it, and I normally don't lose it, and I apologize to the audience. I don't need to lose it with this guy, but it's treason. So Nutty, are you there?
Notice one thing that he said, and Bob, you know what? If I took you the wrong way, correct me and then I'll apologize. Notice what he said. He said, my family is Palestinian. He didn't say I was Palestinian. He said my family.
I'm not going to claim that I'm Palestinian. I'm American.
So the fact is, well, you can still have Palestinian descent, dummy.
No. I definitely don't. It's on my brother's side. It's my stepbrother.
So I'm going to ask this. How is this administration working out for them? Since you want to get up here and you want to simp for the person you claim to hate, how is it working out for your stepbrother?
I think it's working out the same way that it's always worked out, regardless if it's Republican or Democrat. We have 240.
If Kamala was sitting in the White House, Kamala would be claiming that the Palestinians needed to move out so it can be landscaped.
Yes, they were already talking about moving the Palestinians into Sinai under the Democratic Party.
Okay, but listen up.
The problem is that we have U.S. presidents and Congress members who serve allegiance to Israel.
No. Bob, that's not the problem. The problem is you. Politicians are going to be politicians. What I have a personal issue with is, and you just danced right over the whole thing about the Triple K. You don't understand American history that well. And you're out here trying to do this whole virtue signaling nonsense. And the logic model that you're running on is totally crooked and corrupt, and it's actually making matters in this country a lot worse. Why couldn't you, honestly, bring yourself to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris? It was really only two choices.
Well,
it was only two. If you be honest with me, there was only two.
Racism.
I will.
And I don't want to hear about the Israel and Gaza nonsense right now from you. Using what you understand here on the domestic front in this country, because the domestic things that are going on to me outweigh what's going on in foreign, because you don't have any input over there. You get that, right? You do get that. You don't have any input in the foreign areas. That's dedicated to the president. We're
We don't
talking
have
about
any input here.
Okay. Why didn't you vote for Kamala Harris?
Well, like I said, that was one of the big deciding factors. The fact that they always said that they had the right to defend themselves, and they played the Palestinians as these crazy extremists who want everyone dead.
Enough.
Zeus,
I'm done
Zeus,
with it.
this guy is weird, but you know what's crazy? Because
Yeah.
I can absolutely say without question, yes,
Wasn't done with my point.
Israel has the right to defend itself. But who is Israel defending themselves from? Because Hamas is not a nation. Hamas is a group. But yet and still Israel went after an entire society. It's absolute the word that I want to say that TikTok will get crazy about. So you talk about overkill. They didn't go after Hamas. They went after the people. And y'all so stupid, Haas
Very
or
much
Boss, whatever your
aware.
name is. Y'all so
Sure.
stupid.
Why?
Because every Palestinian and the Palestinian people, they're not part of Hamas.
I'm very
is a
much
group.
aware of that. I never
Hamas is
said
a
that.
group just like
Hamas
the
is
Triple K.
a resistance group.
Hamas is a group just like the Triple K here. But should somebody come against black people?
How are you going to say?
Should
How are
somebody
you
come
going to say
against black people
Hamas is
because
like the
we have the
Triple
Triple
K?
K
Okay.
here
They're
in
a
the United
resistance
States?
group.
Okay, here's the thing though. And again,
They're
I know-
fighting for sovereignty. How are you going to compare them to the Triple K?
Are you here? And I don't want, because this is getting serious and it's happening way too fast. What I don't like is your concern about what's happening abroad is way more important to what's happening here.
I have family abroad, right? This stuff is important, and it doesn't even matter if I had family abroad. What is going on is horrific. And
I didn't ask you, and I didn't say that isn't true. What I'm trying to point to you is there's multiple realities that can exist simultaneously. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Thank you. And the issue that I have with you is the prioritization that you're doing for a reality.
I picked a candidate who I felt did not lobby for Israel. That's why I voted third party.
No. Again, I asked you earlier why you didn't vote for vice president, and that wasn't the answer you gave me. Now you're trying to give me a different answer.
That is the whole reason. It has nothing to do because she's a woman. I voted for her, Miss Harris the last time when Trump ran.
The last time? What the hell?
What the hell? I'm gonna say this to you.
He's a liar, Zeus.
I'm gonna
He's
say
lying
this
in
to
our
you,
face.
and I know he is, but he's gonna learn a little thing about what I'm saying. Here's the problem I have. I just started this show, and maybe you weren't here earlier, pointing out that folks whose logic models were set up like yours, they're now being infiltrated here domestically by the Triple K. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that.
Okay. And I asked you earlier.
I have neo-Nazis marching on my street.
Listen.
An actual training campground, not even like a mile away from
you know
my
what,
home.
Bob, I got him. You're not listening. And I just wanted to remind you that it's the way you think that has created those conditions. So now you have you have two issues now. You're worried about what's happening in Palestine, and you're also worrying about what's going to happen to your behind right here in this country, right? Or somebody you love. I don't know how you present. Right. I don't know how. So this is what I'm trying to get you to wake up and understand. Your head is so far up over there in foreign policies that you've ignored your primary duty about taking care of home. It's like running a house and you're so worried about the neighbors and you're not worried about what's going on in your house. You see the issue here?
I'll tell you.
Do you see the issue here?
No, I understand what you're saying.
No.
I understand what you're saying, but I also want to make the point. I also want to make the point. I live in the most reddest of states. I live in Tennessee.
He's the victim. So
I'm
you're
no
a victim.
No, I'm not a victim, sir.
Okay, so then take responsibility like a man, all right, or an adult, I should say, and understand that this is the kind of conduct that leads to people like Donald Trump being in control of America. Congratulations. We're now in a worse situation because of the fact that you, for some strange reason, couldn't make common sense decisions when it came down to it. You were under pressure. I get it. Nobody said we love these people, but look at the difference. Donald Trump, a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, the list impeached twice. You saw what he did with C-19. And you're gonna get up here and try to present yourself.
I was affected by that. I work in a hospital.
Listen, you're gonna get up here and try to present yourself as an intelligent individual. And I'm saying you're not that intelligent.
No, I don't know it all. You're right. There's a lot that I'm learning.
And again,
and yes, I'm white. I have white privilege. So
okay,
things.
I'm done with this. I gotta move on, Bob. I gotta move on because the deeper this gets with you, the more work I realize I need to do. All right. Now, what I'll do is this. I'm going to go ahead and judge you. All right. You know how I run my show, right? I got to judge you.
You're going to send me to hell, right?
Yeah, because you got a lot of work to do, and I want to move on. And
I wish I had more time to explain my position. I really do.
Okay, well,
I need you to
come
crank
on
the
back.
fire on this
Come
one.
on back. Come on back, Ba. All right, but you got enough game out of us today, and I'm the Rizzler. Nutty's doing a great job. That's a lot to chew and meditate on, all right? But in the meantime, in between time, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ba. And I don't know how he got to this point, ladies and gentlemen. How do I do this? All right, okay, it's a new TikTok. Join me in sending Ba, who couldn't bring himself to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris where he belongs. Where, Zeus? Straight to hell! Never. I'll just say this, Bob. I'll say this to Bob and anybody like you. Next time you have an opportunity to choose between a candidate with no record and a candidate with a record, make sure you do the right thing and choose the candidate with no record. All right. Every test won't be that easy, but that was the easiest test that you could have ever taken, and you failed it miserably. And here we are, almost 10 months in, and you still don't realize where you made the mistake. All right, that's a huge W, Zeus, and a W, Nutty. All right, Nutty, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Let me say this and get on out of here. It's that sort of thing that I want to bring attention to, because he wanted to argue about my experience growing up where I grew up and tell me I was wrong. And he got up here and he completely changed the topic in which we were talking about. Let's not let them win to do that again. Because that me included, because I got so angry with him telling me it's not true. You can't tell me what is and isn't true in a place that I grew up. Right. I grew up around these people. And I'm telling you how the community is. Now, with that being said, Dearborn, Michigan is an amazing place. So if you all are ever in Michigan, go to Dearborn. It's a great place.
True.
It is a wonderful place. Thank you, Zeus. Have a great day, man.
All right, Nutty. I always enjoy tag teaming with Nutty, because as much as we banter back and forth, he really knows his stuff, and he knows how to do and say the right things to unlock the demon. And that was a demon. And he says he didn't vote for Trump, but whether you did it directly or indirectly, we're gonna take it as a direct vote for Donald Trump on this show in this kingdom, and it's considered treason. And so, in your white privilege, champ, we already exposed you, and you told on yourself when you said, "Oh, it wasn't because she was a woman and a black woman." No, because usually when people say that's not what it is, that's usually what it is. Sort of like when Donald Trump says, "I never knew the guy." W Zeus. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, all right, we are cooking and booking. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, look at who. Hopefully, good morning, Jim. How are you doing, Jim? So
Good
lovely.
morning.
Hey,
How
how
are
are
you?
you?
Well, first of all, oh, go ahead. I
No,
think
no,
there's
that's
always
you.
a delay.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Go ahead, finish your statement.
No. You're fine. I know. I'm hoping you could come in and make sense out of all of the stuff that we've just heard. All right, because I'm the Rizzler, but you're better than the Rizzler. All right.
Well, I appreciate that because I've been taking some notes listening to your guests and some of your commentary this morning. And first of all, let me give my round of applause to Nutty for the use of matriculation. I'm sure that went over most MAGA's heads. Google it. So here's the thing we need to start talking about is that you can't. What was the gentleman's name that gave the hate speech? No, not that.
Jake Lang. Jake Lang.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because that really struck a chord with me this morning. So Jake Lane went into Michigan and gave this speech to Arab communities that voted for Trump, and then proceeded to talk about women's rights as Trump literally was welcoming the Saudi royal prince, who has committed crimes against women and the country that he lives in. Let's talk about Jamal Khashoggi, shall we? Let's talk about Jamal Khashoggi. So as you mentioned, Jamal Khashoggi was unalive, given the orders by MBS, which his own family condemned, by the way. And let's remind people who MBS is related to: the 9/11 T group that took out our over 3,000 people. So let's make sure that you understand the direct connection that Saudi Arabia was the ones that performed and infiltrated our airlines and harmed over 3,000 American citizens in New York City on 9/11. Let's make sure you're not forgetting who he's related to. And I'm not even going to bother to say the name, because that was taken care of by which president? Yes, that would be Barack. That would be Barack. Yes, Barack Obama. He didn't play games. He handled business. He found them and took care of it. And that's what you use the Situation Room for, not for trying to literally banter and beat up on female Congress members. You use the Situation Room to handle real situations that need to be handled in the world. But that's what leaders do, not bullies and dictators. So let's make some connections here, shall we? So you've got Jake talking about, and many of the MAGA talking about Sharia law. So let's talk about Qatar, shall we? Let's talk about exactly the ruling of Qatar, because Qatar is literally where Hamas and Hezbollah are housed. Let's start there, because didn't our president just take a plane, a gift from Qatar? Yeah, he sure did. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He also gave them something else. Do you remember what he gave them? He gave them land. Land in Idaho.
Oh, Mount Holm Air Force Base. Mount Holm Air Force Base.
Can you get any wider than Idaho? I mean, let's put Qatar Air Force Base, because that's what white folks call it. They call it Qatar. They can't say Qatar, so they say Qatar. Let's put an Air Force Base with a bunch of men who literally believe in Sharia law right in the heartland. Let's do that, because that's going to work out well, right? They're all going to be talking like this with a little in the background, because that's literally what's going to be happening in Idaho. Now, let's talk about who else is in bed with Qatar. That would be Iran. You know, the place that Trump likes to talk about how he hates so much, and literally dropped boom booms on Iran. But Qatar is involved with Iran. And that's because Trump's getting a payoff. Now let's make the connection of Iran to who else they're supporting. Oh, that would be Russia, because that's where Russia is getting its boom booms to drop on what? What country?
Ukraine.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So you want to talk about people like that guy Ba, who thinks they know about what's happening in the Palestinian community? You know nothing. You know zero, because then you would have been able to do your homework and know exactly who's in bed with the Saudi government, with Qatar, who's paying them off. And that would be none other than the son-in-law of the president of the United States, Jared Kushner, because Charles Kushner is literally in bed with Netanyahu. Let's talk about that. Not only are they best friends, that's who's got all in this mix. So you've literally got Jewish leadership in bed with Muslim leadership, but you want to talk about how you're protecting the United States against Sharia law while you're in bed and receiving gifts from the very people who are literally harming not only American citizens on 9/11, but Jamal Khashoggi was completely dismembered and put in a suitcase. And who brokered that deal? Do you remember? None other than Jared Kushner.
Wow.
So let's be very clear.
Wow.
When you want to talk about corruption and you want to talk about Kamala Harris making a false statement that you didn't bother to do any research on, and the fact that you voted for a third party who had no opportunity whatsoever to ever be seated in the highest office of our land because they cannot receive electoral college votes at all. You threw away your vote. You voted for the Trump administration. You went against the very educated, strong Black woman who dedicated her entire life to public service.
Yes, she's not wrong, boss. She's not wrong.
So let's make it perfectly clear, because I've got a few more names for you to research, while you start talking. The president of Egypt, he's in bed with him. Well, we literally bail out Egypt every freaking year with billions of dollars, and then they turn around and they shut the gates to the Palestinian people. They did not welcome those people in. They allowed them to be slaughtered. So please miss me with you feel for the Palestinian people while you vote for the very people slaughtering them.
Bingo.
Let's talk about the Kurdish allies that we lost under the Trump administration. You know, the very Kurdish allies that supported our American soldiers, and Erdogan literally slaughtered them under the first administration of Trump. Let's talk about that, shall we? Also Muslim. Let's talk about, Syria, shall we? Let's talk about Syria. He's in bed with Syria. Let's talk about Live Gulf, shall we? Let's talk about Live Gulf. Wow. Let's talk about offering $1 trillion deal to a sitting president, because that's what they know to do. Wow. They know he doesn't know anything about the people. They know he doesn't know anything about the country. He doesn't care about the United States of America. He is selling us off bit by bit to the highest bidders. And you know what, Tiny Tank Top Tim? You might want to take this tip and put it in your tiny little brain. You don't know what anger is until you meet people who have actually been harmed by this administration. And if you're not feeling anger, then there's something broken within you, because you should be fighting for the United States of America and the Constitution that should be upheld right here, right now, to protect our sovereignty, because our sovereignty is being sold off to foreign entities, and the Jared Kushners and the Trumps of the world and the Stephen Millers are all in bed with the very people that you have cried wolf about for decades upon decades to fear. And it is not the Muslims you should be afraid of, because the terrorism is right here on U.S. fucking soil. Sorry, Mama, but that F word was important.
Amen. Sorry, Mom, too, because Jim's over here cooking and booking. You know, you're hurting his feelings, Jim. You know that, right? I see him in the comment section. He's crying a little bit. Do you feel bad about it?
No. And here's the thing. For all the white men out there who you think you're doing something, you've done nothing but harm your daughters. You've done nothing but harm your wives. You've done nothing but harm your mothers. You've done nothing but harm the U.S. Constitution. Amen. You have done nothing but harm your neighbors. You've done nothing but harm your food supply, your medical, your sciences, your land. It is being taken from you. And you did so because your racist, misogynistic souls literally thought you were going to get over on the American people because you couldn't vote for a woman. And Michelle Obama said it best. You're not ready for women, because anytime a woman stands strong, you run scared. So tuck your tail and move on, because the future is female and we're taking this country back.
Amen. Amen. W, Jim. I don't know how you do it, but you did an outstanding job. And Ba, are you still okay? Are you still okay? Yeah, W's to Jim. Ba, somebody check Ba's pulse. Check his pulse right now. I know he's not feeling well right now. He's going to call in sick. Jim did a number on him. Wow, I just got to say thank you, Jim. All right, we appreciate that. All right, as always. Is there anything else, or should we go ahead and call it a wrap on this show?
I just want to remind everybody that this is not the time to get comfortable. We've had a few really, really big wins. It is time to literally unify, work with your neighbors, get out there and knock doors. If you can't get out there and knock doors, volunteer your time at your school districts, get involved with your communities, start making this a better country for the next generation.
Amen.
We cannot slow down. Now is the time to stand up and hold on to what we need to do, which is the activity that goes with the words. Work hard, unify, get people registered to vote, start having hard conversations. I really wish we could have dialogue with the people who got sucked into the MAGA kingdom and made themselves believe that they were somehow going to be useful tools. But the problem is they're so far gone that even when you hear them, when you have a logical brain, right, and you hear them speak, you're like, what are they hearing? Because when I hear Trump speak, I hear pure idiocy. I hear pure hate. I hear pure misogyny. I hear pure racism and xenophobia, and I don't hear anything of humanity come out of that man's mouth. And when you hear the Stephen Millers or the Stephen Miller, is that his name? Yeah, Stephen Miller.
Yeah,
Or
Stephen Miller.
or Steve Bannon. There's a Jason Miller too that's in Trump's world. So just make sure that you're understanding that it is imperative that when you hear something, you research it and you look for valued sources, the Associated Press, people that do research. Stop buying things at face value, even if it comes from your friendship areas. Don't take people at face value without doing the research, because that's what causes the ripple effect of misinformation, is when you go out and repeat it, but you don't research it.
Bingo.
So do your due diligence. And as far as the Epstein files go, ladies and gentlemen, call your Senate now. Write them every day. Remind them that they have an obligation to protect the women and children of this country who were harmed by pedophilia and sexual assaultists, and one sitting in the White House as we speak. And so don't forget that RFK also, Jr., had a history with womanizing and harming women, and his second wife literally unalived herself when she found his little black book. So let's be real. We have literal predators sitting in office. So why would you be continuing to have predators and thieves at the highest echelon of your country when we the people, for the people, can stand up and take our country back? Do it now, especially you girl dads. Don't hand this country over, regardless of race, color, or creed. Stand up for democracy. Stand up for your women, your daughters, your children. Protect us now. We need all of us involved. I love you, sir. Have a great day.
All right. Love you too, ladies and gentlemen. Jim. No lies detected. That's what you call a total obliteration, an annihilation, and she addressed every salient point. I mean, you don't get any more honesty and transparency than that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, Jim, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. That concludes this special broadcast. I hope you all really did enjoy it. We did a lot. All right. And Bob, you come on back, Bob. We're not done talking. All right. I think there is an opportunity for you to get rehabilitated. All right. But I just don't have enough time in the show to address it. But you got homework. All right. I know it bothers you that I'm calling you a Trump voter or a Trump supporter, but that's honestly what you did. You committed treason the moment you couldn't bring yourself to Vice President Kamala Harris. And there's no excuse on the planet that'll work. There's none, and I'm not accepting it. It was a simple test, Trump or Kamala, and you failed it miserably. And it's 10 months out, and you still haven't went back and looked at your notes to look at where the mistake was made. You wouldn't be in the situation that you're in right now in America if Kamala Harris was the president, all right? Because she was definitely the most qualified candidate that you had to choose from, all right? So that's a huge W, Zeus. I want to give a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. I don't get to say thank you enough, but honestly, I genuinely do appreciate it, because without you, this show probably wouldn't be possible. It does take a lot to do a little bit of this, but, it's worth it. And I appreciate the panelists too, because they come up here and they contribute so much to having these kind of rich discussions. All right, I mean, I would prefer to have conversations, but I think at the point we're at right now, MAGA doesn't want to debate anymore. They just want to get up here and just show their rear ends and act ignorant, and that's not what this is about. This is about really trying to save the soul of this great country of ours. All right. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that leads me to the next part. It's time for me to give my last round of booze and shame, and you know who this goes out to. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Oh. Somebody said do it, and I did it. Good morning, doctor. How are you doing? Dr. Keisha, are you there? Are you there, Doc?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, somebody said, bring up Dr. Keisha, and I said, she's here. And I know you
Yeah,
come. You usually come towards the
I'm
later
headed
part
to
of
my
the show.
homeland tomorrow. I know.
Oh, you're heading to the homeland.
I am. I'm getting the heck out of Dodge. Yeah. I'm going for a birthday celebration
Okay.
for a friend.
Okay, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, safe travels and all of the above. Is there any parting words you want to give us out here before you go? Because we're gonna miss you. Huh?
Thank you. I sure do. Listen, I'm really concerned. Um, I think it's next week or the week after, they're going to dismantle some more of the immunization access, including hepatitis for babies,
Wow.
because they don't understand it. In addition to that, I wanted to tell you all there is a new subclade of the flu that's going around. And actually, a little bit later, Zeus, in like an hour, I'm going to go live to talk about it. There's a new flu variant, K, but here's the thing about it. UK is already dealing with it. Canada is actually dealing with it. And if you thought last year was bad,
Yeah, because I think he left, but I
oh,
heard the flu season is going to be bad this year because a
yeah.
lot more people aren't being vaccinated. Something like that.
Well, no, in addition to that, you thought last year was a bad strain. I don't know if you know, but we had more unalivements than any other year from the flu last year, and more hospitalizations, hundreds of thousands. This year is the cousin you don't want to know. This is the you thought he was bad?
Yeah.
He's about to bring out his bad brother, and this substrain is not playing around. Unfortunately, it mutated after the immunizations were put forth for this year, so it doesn't 100% cover it. It's believed that it'll be 40% effective in adults and maybe 60%. But again, we have less than 50% uptake of the immunization. I'm going to tell you, last year I waited, and it was the worst thing I could have done. Zeus, the worst thing I could have done. I had 104.8 degree fever. It was scary, and I'm really scared this year because we have. No, it's really bad. Look at Canada and France is already putting out an emergency because normally they don't have until December when they start to see uptake, and it's already November and they're having a rise in cases. We are just at the beginning, but because Thanksgiving's next week, that's why I want to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. The political things are one thing, but if somebody doesn't believe in health and protecting themselves, do not have a party with them, and then you end up with this type of gift. I'm just
curse. You mean curse?
This type of curse.
It's a curse.
But it's a recycled gift because we remember the animals that were released that were running around.
The monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that were infected, and then they turned around and they unalived the innocent monkeys because they said, "Oh, we don't want to get sick," but then they themselves they're running around here sick like the monkeys.
Yeah. So pneumonia, y'all, is just an infection of the lungs, and it's different organisms, and the flu can cause pneumonia. So that's the same thing. The pneumonia can be caused by measles. Pneumonia can be caused by bacteria, by viruses, different things. What can we do to prevent it? There's nothing we can do now. We can immunize ourselves. And we can believe in science, and we can stay from those that are not. I'm going to be really honest. If you have a loved one that is compromised, that is a child, I would just limit your gatherings. Every single time people get together and decide to, everybody ends up sick, and woe is me. We don't have the healthcare services. You now don't even have insurance or coverage. So just protect yourself. That's all. If you're going out, like I'm traveling, I will have my mask as much as I can. And I don't hang around people that don't believe in science and that don't vaccinate. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
You're not coming to my house. You're not.
Yeah. You know, you just made me think of something, and I know we're a little pressed for time. Somebody sent me something, and I said, let me ask the doc if there's anything to this. It says the New York Post is reporting that a Washington man is critically ill after contracting an unpredictable virus that has never been observed in humans before. Have you heard about this?
Are you talking about the one that passed away, the alpha-gal syndrome?
I have no clue. Somebody sent that to me. I just said, you know what? Because they're a Trump voter. You know, they
Unpredictable virus that nobody ever knows. Well, listen, sometimes we have to sequence things, but that's right. We do not have the FDA and CDC and the resources to be able to get data and sequence things that we should be. But there was a guy that passed away from alpha-gal syndrome. And again, this stuff is because of climate change. There was somebody that got bit by a mosquito, and then you can get an allergy. Your immune system reacts, and it also reacts to other things. So it cross reacts when you eat meat. And we had the first unalivement from a tick-borne allergy, should we say. We also just had a guy get a variant of the bird flu.
Yeah, that's what this
that
is.
different.
That's what this one is. Yeah, this is
The
H5. What does
avian
it say?
flu.
H5N5. He
Yeah,
contracted it.
H5N5
First human
was a
case
common one.
of H5N5,
So
avian
he
flu.
had a flock of birds in his backyard, and that's how he got it. But it's also showing serious disease. And we already know that there are cases. Zeus, I don't know if you know, but they're not out in the news, but we've been tracking bird flu. And there are several stock that have been affected. There's been more chickens that have been affected because we're done with, right? They've migrated and now we're seeing the rise. You have many countries that are already putting out an emergency. You have countries that are trying to shelter the birds that they have.
Yeah.
Turkeys, and they're seeing it in other different animals. Oh, and you don't know about the seals. There's the seals that have now been infected. I was seeing the picture of them. Oh, they're so cute. I'm going to put it in my stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Infected seals. You know what? I've heard it all, Doc. I seriously have. It's a shame we're in this situation, and we can't even trust what's coming out of our
You
government.
can't trust. And you can't even sometimes trust healthcare. For those women that look like me, I know there's been a lot of stories out. We're going to talk about that. Getting to the doctor and then not being believed. There are resources and ways to access it so it takes care of you and doesn't work against you, because nobody should be in labor and have what has happened. At the same time, we've got to learn how to get our information correctly. I appreciate you, Zeus, for this platform. We've got to also know when and where to say things and mind our manners. We don't need to throw everything. We don't have to be the breaking news. And I have no problem with Parnas. But we don't need to be the breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. And we haven't even broken it down ourselves, right? We know what is happening. We know that the reason why Democrats held out is that there's also some things with backdoor, not meaning a nationwide AB ban, but meaning they want to make the difficult more with funding so that even in your insurance, you won't be able to get it covered, making it harder for you to get access to AB care. But it's not a nationwide AB ban. So that's why it's called a quote backdoor. But this has been going on for a while. So I discern when I release things, because there's no point of just what I'm saying, bombarding people, especially now. I think what's happening with a lot of people resurfacing their trauma and stuff, there's no point of just throwing stuff out, just throw it out. Be discerning. And then always, seek a professional. That's hence where professionals are for. We know what is just hogwash, or there are articles being released or research articles that haven't been peer reviewed. So, consider your source. Don't always have to be the first one to blot something out or vomit it out. Use caution and have conversations with, healthcare professionals. We're here. We're always here. I just did an episode on Monday on the Medical Collective. It was good. It is the episode that's talking about medicine then and now. And one of the things that I miss is the pen and paper and the patient relationship. That nurse you saw that was not even looking at her, that's not what we want. And listen, your voice, having an advocate, having a phone, I'm all for it. Because I don't know that nurse. I don't condone that behavior at all. And I heard that she was on leave, that she's on paid leave. She's not even fired. So, we got to break the system. It wasn't easy for me to make it through. And I'm going to tell you the same things. They try to make it hard for us to even become doctors so that we couldn't take care of patients. Right. And we need more of us. So we're trying, what you can do is uplift our voices. When you're in a room, shout out the Medical Collective. I know there's a lot of creators, but there's not many Black female medical creators. Dr. Sharon, Dr. Leslie, we don't have to sit on here every day. But when we do have the time, the least you can do is at least share our conversations. They're rich. I've talked about Haley Stevens. Listen, the vote and everything has put them back, but Representative Haley Stevens has the articles of impeachment. When she gets to DC, the first week of December now is when we're going to do that conversation, as well as the first week of December. If you all remember Trey Reed, there was misinformation. That second autopsy was never done. And I talked to the mouth of the people that are actually doing the autopsy, which is the Autopsy Initiative. Colin Kaepernick himself is the head of the Autopsy Initiative. He funded this, but it's not him alone. It's literally called the Autopsy Initiative. They've done 140 autopsies on predominantly Black and brown individual families where there was a questionable unalivement at the hands of the police. They redo those autopsies. And I bet y'all didn't know that. They've been doing this since 2022. I've talked with them before, and they have a lot of information they want to get forth because there's a lot of disinformation even around that whole thing. And because of legal things, right? They can't talk about the specifics, but just know anything that's been put forth about Trey Reed's second autopsy is a lie. It has not been completed.
Well, there you go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Dr. Keisha Davis. Now, I got to get up out of here. But as always, you're more than welcome to continue to come back. And honestly, Doc, have a safe travels.
Thank you. Y'all take care of yourselves. Remember, mask up. If they don't believe in vaccine up, don't invite them over for a turkey dinner.
Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's W is in the chat with Dr. Keisha Davis. No lies detected. All right, now I was saying before I get up out of here, I got to give one last round of booze and shame. And this goes out to all the Zeus haters out there. You know who you are. Let's give them one last round of booze and shame. We're out of here. Safe travel. All right.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
We're out of here.
Yeah. Gotta wake the chain up. Get injected with some power.
Let's go.
Pull some strings. Level up like a king.
We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your morning.
Came from the trenches, now we ballin' at the top. Raise no energy, presidential, watch the ops. Drip too saucy, got the fit, hitting real different. 1600 on the throne, out here with the bread. No skis, I'm the go for sharper than a blade. Four attacks, make these clowns pay for all shit. Bustin' moves, no
Blaze of
mid, got
glory.
the game.
You don't want the Rizzler to get you. WN! You don't want the Rizzler to get you, Blaze of glory.
You don't want the toes. Level up with the blueprint. Let the empire grow. Go through all the fakes. Now my circle A1. Moving 100 this race is all the one. Bet I'm dripping, got the power, vision crystal clear. Thicker ambition, yeah, making history right here. Ops talking wild, but they cannot touch the throne. Posted in the Oval Office, trapping in the zone. Skirt past the hate, got my foot on the gas. I'm bulletproof, yeah, my heart is with the last. Slack with the can, moving chess, not checkers. Presidential flex, got my game on my necklace. Level up, we take it over the spot. Drip clean, get it poppin'. We ain't gon' never stop. No cap, we lit. Yeah, 4 on the 1,000, 100, 1605. Presidential, we found it. Posted in the Capitol, moving like I own the block. Riz game, presidential, got the nation in the block. Got the energy, yeah, 100, no facade. Drip celestial, shining brighter than a star. Bet I'm calling shots, got the vision.
Have a great rest of your morning.
With the moves, turn the dreams into chandeliers. Stay working, but they folding under all the pressure. 1600, I'm the one flexing, I'm the new successor. Back the legacy, breaks every bar's a new crown. Drop soul in the White House, DC is the town. Woke up in the mansion, views from the east wing. Prime presidential, residential, got the poles in the climb. No cap, I'm the vibe, come the calm in the storm. Got the gloom, dropping bombs like I'm reading out a song. Trying to glitch, but the code is unbreakable. Skee-dee-dee through the storm, legacy unshakable. Through the air, like the city in my grip. Like a real poet, make the whole world flip. Busting off the charts, got the game in the trance. Drip to baby, yeah, make you wanna dance. Level up, we taking over the spot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see you, JTA.
We ain't gonna never stop.
Have a great rest of your morning, and I'll see you tomorrow.